Well, I'd say rock and roll, but it's a sad moment. We're doing a special Scorched Earth podcast for the late, great Gene Hackman, who yesterday was found dead at 95, along with his wife of over 34 years, Betsy Araqua, who's 63, classical pianist, and their dog. I wish they didn't put that in the news reports, but he was found dead in his home in Santa Fe, Mexico. The sheriff has reported there's no foul play suspected. Yesterday, one of the things that you probably have learned about me is I love going to the movies. And actually yesterday, I went to go see a movie at the movie theater of Unforgiven. And it truly is one of the greatest movies ever for me. I'd put it probably in the top 4. And I'm really serious about the top 4 because most people who say top 10, they have about 40 movies in there. But that movie is so nuanced. It's so brilliant. Gene is just off the charts. Clint is off the charts. Morgan Freeman. I mean, everybody just hits the mark. The directing, the script, everything. And Gene, one of the reasons I love it is because everybody's a little bit of gray. There's a little good in them, and there's a little bad. And Gene is the sheriff, Wild Bill, and he is a sadistic mother effer. He is the sheriff. He's there to protect the people, but man, he's a mean hombre. That is for sure. And he played it so well, from being the incompetent carpenter to the bullwhipping of Morgan Freeman. You know, when he says that line, and when those women don't tell the same lies as you do, well, I ain't gonna whip no woman. And then he walks back, and man, that's a chill. That's a chill. Hackman was a 2-time Oscar winner. Just turned 95 in late January. Legendary for having an ornery temper. Landed on the scene in the classic Bonnie and Clyde. If you haven't seen it with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, I'd highly recommend it. Nominated for an Oscar a year later for Best Supporting in the 1970 movie flick, I Never Sang for My Father. To be honest with you, I never saw it. 71, though, that's when he started the role. Won Best Actor as Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. And it truly has one of the best car chases. I think, in my mind, it's right there with Bullet with Steve McQueen. I mean, that they go through the city of New York and they rip it up. And it is just a great, great movie. I don't think it's aged very well, but it is a very good movie. 1972, he starred in the Poseidon Adventure within the marquee actress Shelley Winters. And he had a couple funny little things I picked up over the years from that movie. He once said of Shelley Winters, she is the only woman I know who can argue underwater. Oh, what a prince. And then I heard this story from an extra. And one of the things they did, obviously the Poseidon Adventure is on a cruise ship that has a fatal ending. It doesn't end well. Everybody dies. Rogue tidal wave. Things don't go well. Not everybody, but a lot of people, right? So one of the extras was talking about his time on the set, and he had a bit part. I don't remember his name. Doesn't really matter. And what they made them do to get on the screen was they had to do their own extras. So there's this iconic shot of where the guy falls backwards. He's looking up at the camera and he's falling down through a glass atrium. And he was incredibly scared. He's like, this wasn't now where they have all these safety precautions. He was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And they finally prepare the scene for a couple days, and then they get ready to shoot it. And he looks over and he sees Gene Hackman with the camera. And and it was Gene's day off, and Gene never came around when it was his day off. And he looked at Gene and said, "What are you doing here?" And Gene looked at him and said, "I'm here to take a picture of you dying." God, what a wicked sense of humor. His next big role, he was in The Conversation, very, very underrated movie by Francis Ford Coppola. He was the villain Lex Luthor in the 1978 Superman. Some of his other films of note: Hoosiers, the Indiana basketball coach; No Way Out with Kevin Costner; Crimson Tide with the great Denzel Washington; Get Shorty, which I just watched the other night. Very good movie with Danny DeVito, John Travolta, and Rene Russo. Absolute Power with his a well done collaboration with Clint Eastwood. The coup d'etat at the end of his career was probably Unforgiven, like I talked about. Another movie that I really enjoyed with him was the David Mamet picture Heist in 2001. He plays a thief, and I actually think it was the last movie that he fully committed to. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Typically what he did for the last half of his career is he'd only work 2 or 3 weeks. That was it. You got him in Unforgiven, he really isn't in that many scenes, but when he is a powerhouse. And in Heist, he's in the entire movie. And I would say this: if you are into heist movies, that is one of the most brilliant ones I've ever seen. Just a magical. 2004, he walked away after Mooseport with Ray Romano, and he pretty much lived in seclusion the last couple years, the last 21 years of his life. I wish him well. He brought a lot of joy to people who watched him on the screen. He was a charismatic actor. He was a cranky human being, but you know what? We still loved him. God bless you, Gene Hackman. If you could, though, hit the like and subscribe button. I really didn't want to push it today because it's such a somber moment, but God bless you, Gene Hackman, and I'll see you soon.